Right, we're live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of the Singapore Sevens. This one, the last game of day one, New Zealand versus Argentina. Now, not too long ago, when those two sides went head-to-head, it was Argentina every day of the week when they were on their massive winning streak. But since then, there has been the injury of Marcos Maneta. And ever since that has occurred for the Argentines, it seems like that winning streak has started to dwindle that little bit. But looking through at their starting lineup for this contest, it will be Santiago Mari, Jermaine Schultz, Matthias Azatzuk, Santiago Alvarez, Tobias Wade, Gaston Ravol, and Rodrigo Isgro. So still the same team, minus Maneta, and also no Gonzalez in that starting lineup. Instead, he will find himself coming off the bench for New Zealand. They were able to get themselves the victory over Canada in golden point time in their first contest in Singapore. Their lineup, it is Tupaia Cook-Savage, Fihi Finanofo, Leroy Carter, Moses Leo, Regan Ware, Kitioni Vai, and also Dylan Collier. So a good bit of experience there for the Kiwis with Collier. Other than that, though, quite a young side for the New Zealanders. We've got Spider Mech in the chat. Also, what time's the next Springboks game? That will be at 6:24 p.m. tomorrow or 8:24 a.m. for you guys in South Africa, and that will be up against the French top of the table clash as the South Africans sitting 2 wins from 2 in the early stages of the competition. Hi, Alan Hamish says, Robert, welcome in. 17-12 in favour of the Argentines, says bystander. It looks like Australia are getting close to picking up their second victory of the pool stages. Of course, they were able to beat Argentina earlier on, but Argentina fought back extremely valiantly to get themselves a losing bonus point, and those bonus points can be crucial as the competition wears on. Hello, says No Mum, welcome in. And what round are we in, Hammy? So this is currently a round 2 game. So we've got the one round tomorrow, which is round 3. That is the final pool stage match. And then from there, also tomorrow, taking place are the quarterfinals, followed by then the next day, where we do get to see the semis and also the playoff games, determining where everyone finishes. But of course, only less than a month away, it is going to be the final leg of the Sevens, and that will be the top 8 taking on each other for the overall series title. And alongside that, we will see the bottom 4 competing with the 4 Challenger Series top sides to work out exactly who will be getting promoted or who will be getting demoted from the Sevens circuit. We have got Hi Hamish says, Gus, welcome in, and hello from Nov Mum. Hope you guys are both doing very well. And you guys will stream live tomorrow as well, says Werner. We certainly will. I will mention, though, sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio gets us taken straight off YouTube, but we do the play-by-play commentary just with pretty much talking through what is happening in the game, but that is purely because of copyright. If we showed any match footage, we get taken straight off YouTube. But currently, Australia taking on the Canadians, 30 seconds remaining. Australia have got themselves a 7-point lead. They'll be trying to take away this Canadian 3 points, or sorry, the extra bonus point, if they can get away with it. But looking through at the 2 lineups here off the bench, I think New Zealand have certainly got the more experience with the fact that Gaston Ravol actually starting in this game. No Palandini in the starting lineup here for the Argentines. Instead, he will be coming off the bench alongside Fraha, Gonzalez, and also Graziano, and also Elizalde, another option for the Argentines. For New Zealand, they've got Andrew Newstup, Lewis Orman, Tony Nashu, Narui McCarvey Black, and also Cody Vai. Right, so the kick is missed from Australia, which does mean that Australia finished with 2 wins from 2, but the Canadians do get themselves the bonus point for being within 7, so that will help them out in the long run. And Samoa lost again, frustration. I mean, Samoa 0 from 2. Fiji, they have lost both of their games as well. And then now we're in the situation now. Argentina, theoretically, at the end of this game, could also find themselves 0 from 2 if they aren't able to put in a good performance here up against New Zealand. But it is the last game of the evening that we are going to see for the Singapore Sevens. They're talking to Michael Hooper at the moment. He managed to get himself his first 7 tries, or first 7th try in that game up against the Canadians. This one's a hard one to predict, this New Zealand versus Pumas matchup, because both sides on their given day can score a lot of tries. But we also saw an interesting stat that with Marcos Maneta in the side for Argentina, they were sitting about 26 wins, 3 losses, without Marcos Mineta, they are sitting 3 wins, 3 losses. So we always say it takes more than one player to make a team, but boy does that one player make a difference for this Los Pumas Sevens side. And he is one of the main reasons that they were able to keep that streak alive. So many times he scored a last-minute try or had some sort of try assist that has created their chance to win the game. But without them, that's a little bit of an adjustment period for Los Pumas. Of course, they were also used to winning all their games. Now they've suffered a few defeats. Makes it relatively difficult for the players, but they do still feel like they will be able to finish top of the bunch. Now, there is a regular season title, I guess you could say, for whoever's at the top of the bunch, and that at the moment does look like it is going to be Argentina. But alongside that, there is also the overall Sevens champion, which is still up for grabs in the later leg. But Australia sitting top of the bunch at the moment. Argentina are sitting below Canada on the overall standings, but that is due to the fact that Canada have had their one extra game. The two sides just about to make their way onto the field, and they will be ready to go for this last match of day one. Tomorrow, the first game that we are covering on day 2 will be taking place at 5:37 p.m. New Zealand time. That is the matchup between Ireland and Fiji. So do check that one out. After that, there is Spain versus Samoa. And then after that one, there is South Africa taking on the French, followed by New Zealand versus Australia. So we've still got plenty more happening in the near future for the Sevens circuit. The quarterfinals, I believe they do start at 10:04 p.m. I swear to God on my lives, take my soul. I'm going to beat you next minute and still undefeated. Kiwi Lads Entertainment. Yeah. Old Anthony Taylor, eh? He went on a right good rant. And the thing is, I edited that video and I was like, do I leave it all in? And I was like, yes, because it's just such a build-up to such a, I guess, disappointment for him overall. But yeah, we had a lot of fun filming that video. We've got a few more coming up on Sunday. We've got a different video coming to the entertainment channel, but these two sides now making their way out of the tunnel, and they'll be ready for yet again another head-to-head. This was a final that took place relatively recently. You and George at the ends was classic. Says Blues Nate. New Zealand having that one win. It was in golden point time, beating the Canadians 22 points to 17. Winners the last leg, Hemi. And who's top of the table? So the last leg will be at the end of May. Currently at the top is Argentina, followed by Ireland, followed by Fiji, and then France. Those are the top 4. Outside of that, there's also Australia. Or Australia might even be in 4th, actually, my apologies. But there is the top 8, almost confirmed. If the USA win their next game, I believe that pretty much means that no one can break through and stop the relegation promotion zone. The only side at the moment that have half a chance of doing so is Great Britain, but it does seem like they may fall just a little short. But New Zealand, they are going to be kicking this one off from left to right for the final game of day 1 in Singapore. We are now underway to play a Cook Savage to kick this one off for New Zealand. And he's decided to send it long. Nice take from Gaston Raval. Clemaine Schultz, the man who gets tackled. And also the penalty goes the way of Argentina. I think that was Regan Weir stuck underneath that breakdown. Had nowhere really that he could go. So the penalty does go the way of the Pumas nice and early. They are just showing the top 8. In fact, New Zealand are in 5. At the moment, Australia 6th. And France are at 4. But that kick is mistouch from Argentina. So now opportunity for New Zealand to have a counter-attack. Back across to this left-hand side. Now they are missing Scott Curry. Of course, that is due to serious injury. I think he will be back in the future. He's a tough individual and just keeps on going. Scott Curry, also no Sam Dixon for this leg of the Sevens. New Zealand with the wide cutout pass going wide to Regan Weir, who also has plenty of experience, just like those two players that I mentioned. But still on the field, Dylan Collier. He's going to be waiting for this one. Now, nice running from Leroy Carter. Breaks through one, gets it away to Collier, who has the option on the outside to go to Regan Weir. Brilliant step from him. And New Zealand get themselves the first try of this contest. 1.5 minutes gone, New Zealand. And Regan Weir getting his first try of this competition. Dylan Collier, just those experienced heads. Great step. Santiago Alvarez got sent completely the wrong way there. And Regan Weir picking up the first try for New Zealand. They actually said that Regan Ware was actually the leading tackler in the Hong Kong Sevens competition. Sai says Katzenel. And Isaiah Yahoo try says Spider Mech in there as well. 5 minutes remaining in this first half. At the moment, the way that the live standing sits, Argentina would be in 4th place. But they have got a game tomorrow up against the Canadians, which could help them get into that 3rd place with a chance of going through on the technicality of bonus points. But they have to be within 7 in this contest up against New Zealand, I believe, to have a very good chance. But alongside that, you know, they had a decent showing up against the Australians, keeping it close enough that they received that bonus point. Of course, a big one-sided affair here would hurt them. Who will win? Says Machias. It's going to be a tricky one to predict. At the moment, you'd say New Zealand have the momentum, but Argentina now moving up to the 22. There was a little knock-on the ground, though, and it's now going to be New Zealand's ball at scrum time. Santiago Alvarez kicking the ball away as well, just trying to fire up to play a Cook Savage. Not too happy about it, but you can tell that there is frustration for this Argentinian side. They would have been hearing often, like I mentioned, with no Marcos Moneta, people think that they've lost their edge and they've lost that winning ability. And that must be hard for these players who are still out there on the field, playing week in, week out, to listen to. But then when you look at the stats, there's also the argument for it. Leroy Carter, close to the touchline. Santiago Alvarez going for the turnover, wasn't. Alvaruso is actually to play a Cook Savage, who joined the breakdown. Mini battle going on between those two. Passed out wide from Pinian Northfor. Now gets it away to Moses Leo. Pins his ears back. Almost wrestled into touch, but just manages to stay in the field of play. Ball's there for New Zealand again. Moses Leo goes across to Cody Vai, to Dylan Collier. Skip pass, look close to forward, but referee says play on. Leroy Carter with the grubber, and Cook Savage just not quite able to get it down inside of the field of play. I think they want to check this. He's frustrated though. He's just gone like this, which I think means he hasn't got it. Normally if a player tells you that, it means that they haven't been able to score it. Yeah, on the line for to play a Cook Savage. So it's going to be no try. I'm not sure about that. Don't think that is a try. No, just wasn't quite able to bring it back enough. On the line is out. And will now be a chance for Argentina. I believe they will go back to where it was kicked from for that grubber, which is still inside of their 22. They may also opt to go for the 22 dropout. And not sure, says Spider Mech. And yeah, no try. And New Zealand, says Robert. Scrum from the kick or 22 dropout. They will take on the scrum, I believe, is the best option for the Argentinians. They will still be inside of their 22, though, so a lot of meters to be made. Something I have to say already, though, about this New Zealand backline, it is exactly what a side like Samoa at the moment are lacking. When Samoa pass the ball, it's either behind the man or he's taking it above his head, and that just loses you so much time. But when you're getting crisp passes straight to the chest, you can keep all your momentum going forward, which is exactly what these two sides do so well, particularly New Zealand, throughout this first 4 minutes. But that is mainly because Argentina haven't had a chance, really, with the ball to show us what they're able to do with it in hand. Ben Break Spears just asking for a bit of stability in terms of that scrum. Now, I guess John Ravol to put this ball in for the Argentines. Be hooked back. Nicely claimed there. Gaston Ravol going off to the right-hand side. And in fact, he's going to take it on himself. He had men on the outside, but instead decides that he wants to take the contact. Oh, what's wrong with Samoa and Fiji, Hammy? Well, Fiji, unfortunately, it's the players who aren't the familiar faces that are letting them down, like a Georgie Nasova or a Ravovo. Those guys keep on getting penalised, keep on getting yellow carded, and it keeps on costing Fiji games. And then for the Samoans, it's just their passing and their handling has been letting them down big time. Like, they've been in contests. Like, we saw that in the game up against South Africa. Like, they were in it, but just those little moments take them out of a contest as well. Another penalty goes the way of Argentina. That is for a offside against New Zealand. Now, goes into touch from Rodrigo Israel. That is a fantastic kick downfield as well Does now give Argentina the opportunity to attack from inside of the 22. Rodrigo Isco, of course, getting some opportunities for the Argentine national side in Union. Wonder whether or not we will see him again for the upcoming July internationals. Aussies to win this tournament, who agrees with me? Says Marquez. I mean, they're looking pretty strong throughout those first two legs. I think, to be fair though, like I don't want to discredit what they've done so far, but they do need to face, I think, a little bit of a tougher opposition so that we know exactly how they are sitting in the overall standings, whether it is an informed South Africa, who are doing very well throughout their first two games, whether that is, I mean, at the moment, you'd have to argue someone like a France or an Ireland, maybe even. That is going to be a drop ball from Argentina. In fact, it is the knock-on, and now it's going to be the scrum feed for New Zealand. But I would definitely have them in my top three in terms of who I think is going to be like in the box seat, if that makes sense. South Africa also looks strong, says Katsanel. Which is the only way to see your monitor set up, etc. Says bystander. I mean, I can kind of just tell you it. My desk is a bit messy at the moment, but pretty much I have the screen here, which has the live streaming software and the cameras there. And then over that way, I've just got my other screen, which has the game on it. It's pretty much the setup, and then a couple lights and a green screen behind me. Gaston Ravol now going after Rodrigo Isco. He's gone straight through. New Zealand's defence caught slipping. And slipping over the try line was Rodrigo Isco for his 14th try. And the Pumas now have the opportunity to take the lead here in this contest. And just a good finish off a scrum set play there for Argentina. Checking a name is from Brisbane. How are you, mate? Says James Martin. Doing very well. We have had a busy day with the streaming. I think we're up to about 6 hours worth of the streaming now, but we've got a bigger day tomorrow. I think we're doing about 10 to 12 hours. So I'm looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. And hopefully the voice will last throughout the whole of the matches as well. But currently, almost half time between these two sides. The conversion has missed. So it does make the score at this stage of the competition 5-5 with one more kickoff in this matchup. Still plenty of support for Argentina in the stands for this contest. Argentina may opt to kick this one long. Or do they try and retain? It looks like they're going for the retaining option. Azazuk slaps it back, and Argentina now have got themselves the possession. Are we allowed to be doing NPC this year? I'd like to. Normally, the only trouble last time with the NPC was it was directly overlapping with the Rugby World Cup, which did make it pretty challenging. But I'd like to do some NPC games. I feel like it's always cool to see like those up-and-coming players. But, of course, international rugby and the next level up competitions normally do take a little bit of priority. But when the chance is there, I'd like to do a few NPC, and probably with some of the other Kiwi lads as well. Rather than just myself, it would be quite cool to have some of the other guys on. Now the ball's still there for Argentina. Jermaine Schultz, great step. Though he's taken down by Moses Leo. Now firing this one across is Mare. Here comes Santiago Alvarez. Short ball to Gaston Ravol. Only 10 metres out from the line. Here comes Tobias Wade. Just short of the try line. Diving it off his feet was to play a Cook Savage. Might find himself in a bit of trouble. 2 on 1 out wide became 2 on none. And another try goes the way of Argentina. This time it is Jermaine Schultz who has been able to score the try. But stolen. That looked like a knock-on there from Rodrigo Isco in that replay of the breakdown. I assume that became the penalty, though, in favour of Argentina from earlier on, if I remember rightly. It did take place a little while ago. Some nice work. New Zealand supporters disappointed with that one. We're going into halftime now. It is going to be 12 points to 5 in favour of Los Pumas. New Zealand in their game against Canada, they did struggle for a bit. They found themselves going to golden point time. I've almost led. Says the Blues, Nate. I feel like this game might be no different. If New Zealand don't manage to fire in the first few minutes, this game will either go down to the wire or Argentina will have the opportunity to be able to run away with it. They are just showing all the games that are taking place tomorrow for Super Rugby. I was considering covering Highlanders versus Moana Pacifica. I'm hoping to anyway. It just depends on the schedule. Alongside that, we are also hoping to cover the Crusaders versus the Reds, or at least the first about 15 minutes of that game before the Sevens does kick in. Just looking through at what the go is for tomorrow. For the men's side of things, 10:04 is the 9th place semi-final for the men. This is absolutely nonsense. How can New Zealand play this bad against Los Pumas? Says Marcus. I mean, to be fair though, the Los Pumas side, they are still a very competitive team. And New Zealand, to their credit, the first 3 or 4 minutes, you'd say was going all their way. But the last maybe 3 or so, couple penalties going against New Zealand, and now they find themselves chasing the game up against Argentina rather than setting it. Yeah, the quarterfinals of the men's side of the Sevens do actually take place from 11 p.m. onwards. Oh, that's a rough time to have them, that is for sure, because that actually overlaps with Clermont versus the Sharks. So hopefully a few of the matchups aren't going to be too conflicting, I guess we could say. We'll go like this, and we will go like that as well. But yeah, of course, we won't know what games overlap with what until we actually see who is in the quarterfinals. But we are hoping to do quite a few of the games this time, right, mate? It is not, no, it's a little bit ahead for the overall scoreboard, but the time at the moment in the game is currently just about to kick off the second half, so still plenty of time remaining in this contest, 7 minutes to be exact. Every game depends on the even referee. And Argentina usually look strong in the second half. New Zealand need to come out quick, says Katzenau, and already New Zealand in possession. I praise them for their passing, and then from that moment, they haven't really had the opportunity to pass the ball. But Leroy Carter goes on the outside to Tupac Cook-Savage. No look pass. That's been ruled as forward. I think that they're a little bit frustrated there, New Zealand, seeing as we've seen a few of the other ones that have not been called as forward. Oh, that's a tight one in terms of whether or not it was a forward pass. Drifted forward, but I would almost argue back out of their hands. But either way, it's going to be now an Argentinian scrum with plenty of time left to be able to work. I just went into the channel. I have forgotten to watch the game. Sometimes happens, but here I am. Welcome in. Hope you are doing very well. Did New Zealand score? They did not know. They got the pass out wide, but it was slightly forward. So it is ruled back now, and it is going to be the scrum feed in favour of Argentina. I do also see that Luciano Gonzalez has made his way onto the field for the Argentines. Argentina have got the possession. Gaston Bravo going back across to the right-hand side. Space here for Argentina. Tobias Wade looking for the offload. Gets it away to Rodrigo Isbro. Did score the last try. Great work from Finian Norfo. No, they've said no clear release. Tell you what, that was also very close. But this looks like an injury of some sort. Who is that? Looks like Tupac Cook-Savage. He's holding his ass cheek at the moment. I would say some sort of glute injury, perhaps. Carl Tanana in the commentary said that that was a penalty to New Zealand all day long for that turnover in the breakdown. But it is going to be the penalty in favour of Argentina. Tupac Cook-Savage now looks like he will be making his way from the field. That brings Andrew Newstup, who has a mile of knowledge and a mile of experience for the Kiwis. And Refe, that one may have been the ref, yes, a little bit, yeah. But it depends what happens here for Argentina. Do they get themselves a try off the opportunity? It looks like it. Rodrigo Isgro scores the try. And the game is over. The ref is a disgrace, says Marcus. But yeah, I guess, and I don't know how to say it in a nice way without it sounding like I'm being critical or being sarcastic, but gifted the try here, Argentina. They always say you got to take your opportunities when they're there, and Argentina getting themselves a debatable penalty to then have the chance to run it in, and Rodrigo Isgro has got it. And now New Zealand, they are down 19 points to 5. Our girls are doing so much better than the boys, says Novmum. Now 19 points to 5 at the moment, sitting with the 4 minutes 50 remaining on the clock in the second half. Now Gestion Ravol ready to take this kick. Argentina, of course, currently sitting top of the bunch at the moment. They are looking to get themselves that trophy. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. All right, they've got 5 seconds to kick this one, I believe is the comment. I just had to work out my Spanish. It's going to be kicked in behind, and it's going to stay in the field of play. Mistake. Oh, who was that? One of the Argentine players tried to kick that ball forward. Another knock-on is called against New Zealand from Ben Breakspear. Tell you what, New Zealand are not happy at the moment. I'd expect this, mate, if the Pumas woken up. They've played better. They have used the advantages that they've been given in their favour, I would say, if that makes sense. And Israel is on to go. Rodrigo, if they win, maybe they'll start performing better, says Gatson. Now, well, it's the kind of performance that can give you a lot of confidence, definitely, because in Argentina's eyes, they will be dominating this game, in their perspective, right? And it's a lot better than we saw up against the Australians. Argentina was strong in the second half. That is close to the line for Luciano Gonzalez. The All Blacks are effing up, something like that. There is another try, though. That one is a legitimate one for the Argentines, and it is Jermaine Schultz who manages to score it. If there's a rule for the players, what about the ref? Says Spider Mick. There's the second try of the match here for Jermaine Schultz. New Zealand finding themselves inside of their own half for a majority of the second half of the game. Jermaine Schultz just finishing it off. Gideon Avai trying to whack that ball out of his hands. Wasn't quite able to. And Argentina now taking a nice lead of 26 points to the 5. Now this is terrible for New Zealand's points differential. This is brilliant for Argentina's though, because like I mentioned, they were within the 7 of that game up against Australia. That was because of the fight back. They're doing all right. They're 2 months ago on a roll there after their winning streaks into rebuilding, says Blues Nate. And there as well, but now Joaquin Palandini. New Zealand would need 3 converted tries to take this to golden point time, which is what they did up against the Canadians. But I don't think there's enough time left for New Zealand to get back into it. But Argentina kicked this one off. Nicely taken. This time by, what was that? Number 6 for the Kiwis. I think that's now Roy McCarvey Black, in fact, who has made his way off the bench. Now Regan Ware is wrestled down. Counter coming from the Argentinians. The ball is on their side. Now Regan Ware, I understand, rebuilding. This has turned into a thrashing. New Zealand missing Gordon Titchin. South Africa missing Paul True. Says a bystander. Moving up to the halfway line here for Whinia Norfolk. Like I mentioned, New Zealand need 3 converted tries, or at least 2, to get themselves that bonus point for being within 7, which could be the difference between them making it through to the next stage or missing out. But that next game up against the Australians is going to be absolutely crucial. Whinia Norfolk gets the offload away to Naroya McCarvey Black, trying to find the pass on the inside. The ball stays in the field of play. Referee has said it's gone out. We'll go back in. New Zealand have got themselves the line out. It's been touched by an Argentine, so they are unable to take this one quickly. But Whinia Norfolk found a good offload to Naroya McCarvey Black, but in the end just not quite having the pace to be able to get around Augustin Fraha. Now 110 seconds remaining in this contest. First half was pretty even between the two sides. Second half has been anything but. New Zealand, this is the first time that they have attacked inside of Argentina's half. Looping around there, short ball from Dylan Collier, and it's another knock on this time from New Zealand. Oh, Regan Ware's knee looked like it gave out there for him running for. Come on, New England, says Manny. And also Sevens Olympics 3 months away. Be interesting, says Blues. No, it certainly will. When is the Cricket World Cup as well? That must be getting closer and closer. Must be less than 2 months away from it now. First one on the 2nd of June. So yeah, we're just under the 2 months from... Oh, it's almost a knock-on from Palandini. Looks like it's going to be play on now for Argentina. Agustin Fraha. Great run forward from him. Palandini. That's going to be a missed pass, but it sits up now. The always dangerous Azutsuk. Taken down now, Graziano. Again, Azutsuk hanging on to this ball. Argentina, they will be more than happy to just close out this game with the score sitting 26 points to 5. He has gone down now. Palandini going back across. Now Luciano Gonzalez. Can they increase their points differential just that little bit more? Flicks around the back door. Beautiful pass from Luciano Gonzalez. And they will get there. Elizalde has managed to score it. Okay, there. Did you watch the Under-20 Championship match between New Zealand and South Africa? We didn't just watch it. We also streamed it. Fun fact. And true A big hiding at the moment for New Zealand, but Luciano Gonzalez goes with the round-the-back pass, and to his credit, Elizalde has handled that absolutely impeccably because it was not an easy pass. It was down at knee height when he was only about a metre away from him, and he has been able to claim it, and that gives them another try for Argentina. They are now sitting 33 points to 5 up. I believe it would be 33 after this kick. Yes, that is a great showing. Says Cats are now there. New Zealand 13, South Africa 13. That is correct. Like I said, we did end up streaming that one on the channel. We got to see every moment, including South Africa kicking that ball out when they had an opportunity to progress down the field. But instead, they wanted the draw. And I'm curious to see how that happens or how that impacts the overall competition, because Argentina got themselves a bonus point win over the Australians, and it's only a 3-round comp. So I feel like every point is crucial. So now New Zealand and South Africa both need to win every game from here to have a chance of being able to win the Rugby Championship under-20s. But that is the end of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. 33 points to 5. The winners being Argentina, and they will look to build into the next contest where they do go head-to-head with the Canadians. The next game for the New Zealanders, and will be up against the Australians. Amy, are you now a Dricus Duplessis fan? Says Obi. I haven't really heard anything about him since that Sean Strickland fight, but I thought that fight was a very close one between those two, but I like the confidence that Dricus brought to it. He's a well-rounded fighter, and it's going to be interesting to see how he goes in his next contest. Hopefully it is soon, though, but I think he had to deal with some sort of surgery, which has left him out of action for a relatively long time. In fact, I don't even think we know when his next fight is actually going to be for Dricus Duplessis. Like, in terms of as far as confirmed fights go, UFC 302, he's not on the card. UFC 303, he's not on the card. So he's not fighting until after June anyway, if he is going to be fighting. If I'm Los Pumas, says Julian, and Waterslide match needs more broom sweeping the water away, says Blues Nate. I heard about the conditions bystander. And also we have got there, outcome New Zealand Sevens are not playing well. I mean, they beat Canada in their last contest, and like every side, you go through your phases of winning games and you go through the phases of losing games. Argentina keeps being very strong. Well, that's the thing. They've actually now increased their record in the last 7 games, I believe it is, to at least a winning record, because before that, since Marcos Maneta has not been in the team, they were 3 wins, 3 losses, only winning at a 50%. Just to put that into perspective, before that stage, they were winning at about a 97% rate when they had Marcos Maneta, if not maybe around that 95. And so you are, start putting money away. DDP is the banker, says Obi in there. I mean, I'd like to see him fight again, but it does seem like we're going to get to see maybe 2 or 3 Sean Strickland fights before we get to see him back in action. I see he's facing Paulo Costa in June, Sean Strickland. Maneta recovers soon, says William. I think he's out for the Olympics as well. I could be wrong there, though, but if he's there, he's a game changer for them, that is for sure. Dear, not the sort of score I wanted to see. Not an RG fan, says Bruce. And Kiwi's getting body slammed, says a doctor in there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy this live stream, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Like I mentioned, we've got live streams tomorrow for the Sevens, including the first match, which is taking place between Ireland and Fiji. That will be kicking off at 5:37 p.m. New Zealand time. Also alongside that, we have got the quarterfinals, the first of which starting at 11. That's going to be great for the trash talk. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Paulo Costa's got up his sleeve, because he always seems to have the unorthodox trash talk, I guess you could say, but it's always entertaining with him. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if the language barrier hurts them. I see that Dustin Poirier on that same card's fighting Islam Makhachev. That's the kind of card that I feel like could have been UFC 300. You know, in terms of like the caliber of fights, like no offense to the UFC 300 card, but it just didn't feel like it was as special as it could have been, if that makes sense. Like UFC 301 is a little bit the same, although I'm looking forward to seeing Michel Pereira in action, going head-to-head with Ihor, I'll just have to check his last name, Poteria, I think it is. Like, his last fight, Michel Pereira, me and Dad watched it like 2 days ago, and he just whacked the guy. And thanks for the call, brother. God bless everyone. Says Dr. Poe. And nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And tomorrow, of course, there is going to be plenty more action. Taking place, he's claimed to be Mexican already. Says Fleshin in there as well. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. And I will see you all for